it was great to hear from Andrew Tate. You know, I'd never spoken to him before. So you, me, him, Alex, Myron, total red pill Avengers moment. So
red pill Avengers, holy cringe. It's also so sad to see that, like, now, like, because Sneako is a really good like an alpha identifier. Like, if you put Sneako in a room, he'll instantly get on his hands and knees and crawl over to suck whoever he thinks is the alpha in the room. And right now for him, it's Nick. So now he's just like here, like wagging his tail, like a little puppy. Like every time Nick says something nice about him or like includes him in his group, it's so pathetic. Holy shit.
Excuse me, total red pill Avengers moment. So that was really exciting. But
with a true free market of ideas, if people are able to debate and the ones that are persuasive win, and you know, maybe that's more true.
I think that was a great space, Suleiman. I got to give you props for hosting that. Mario especially was getting a lot of like flack before, people calling him controlled opposition. I think he was just playing the optics game. Let me bring on some opposition to push back, because that's like, if you realize any.
God, I hate this stupid slimy cuck. And he's a bigger. I don't even mean a cuck for like the. I mean he's a cuck in terms of like sitting in the chair and watching Fuentes like everything that he thought he believed in and like clapping along or whatever, and getting humiliated at the same time. Like, freedom of speech and free exchange of ideas is actually really important, but I think that Mario was when he brought on opposing opinions. I think that freedom of speech and free exchange of ideas is incredibly important when we all talk and agree with each other, but I really didn't like it when they brought on people that disagreed. I think we should have the freedom to say anything we want, but I really didn't like it when that one guy said things that I didn't want to hear. Like, how can you not hear like how you're being? Like, it must be that like maybe he shot a lot of guns and he's deaf, so he can't hear himself speak. So he's like mixing up words or confusing definitions, and he's like deluding himself into thinking he's saying something reasonable, but he's actually just like completely out of touch with the words that are coming out of his mouth. I don't know.
On some opposition to push back, because that's like, if you realize anything with Nick the past couple of years, you can platform him as long as you have pushback, which is like probably got to be one of the most annoying things. Like, it's a historical moment to be reinstated. A historical moment. The fake Muslim guy is over here, and it's like conversion to Islam, Fuentes getting unbanned on Twitter, and then me going to Mecca. This is like the top 3 moments of his grifter life right now. Historical moment because some got unbanned from Twitter. Christ. Like, it's a historical moment to be reinstated, a big win for free speech. And then immediately all the hall monitors got to come in and try to obfuscate and make the discussion about something else. And if people really wanted to make the argument for like government institutions having a ton of power, or really wanted to make the argument that there's still crazy shit that goes on that I'm not giving these guys enough credit for, all they would have to do in a debate, imagine Andrew Tate being like, you don't think the CIA or the FBI is such a crazy domestic or psyops anymore? And I'm like, no, I think there'd be evidence of that. I think we'd see something. And imagine Tate's like, tell me, the Sneako that you see today, you really don't think that this one wasn't swapped out 3 years ago for another one? I would be mind fucked. It would be over for me. I would have to unplug the stream and take like 3 weeks off just to even consider how I would respond to that comment. I have no idea. I have no idea what the fuck I would say in response to that. Skate and make the discussion about something else, and then talk about Wikipedia articles. Like, look at how much of a bot, and he always is a bot. Like, Wikipedia. Like, holy, who talked about anything related to Wikipedia in this conversation? It's like he knows like 6 terms. It's so funny. He's like the same as like every virtue signaling leftist cuck. Like, instead of colonialism, Western imperialism, and white supremacy, it's Zionism, Wikipedia, and like the World Economic Forum. Like, it's the same grammar with a different vocabulary. It's the exact same game with just like, I don't know, different courts. It's like, it's so stupid. And it's like so obvious too. Oh, I think I said that at least. Thank God. And Tate had the worst response. People that work in media are the most like social media hungry people in the universe. You think that all these people in all these networks across all these countries are getting fed the same marching orders and nobody's leaked anything, nobody's complained about anything, nobody's said anything? And why do we think that mainstream media is any more insulated from these problems than alternative media is? You guys will make fun of the marching orders from mainstream media, but I bet every single alternative media guy in here is anti-vax, thinks COVID came from a bioweapons lab, thinks that Russia has a right to invade Ukraine, thinks that all the charges against Donald Trump are made up, thinks
thinks that we shouldn't be supporting Israel. Like, you guys have literally copy pasted the same opinions between every single one of you, and you guys are talking like an army of NPCs about how the mainstream media gives you like fabricated opinions. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Yes, we do all think the truth. That is.
Oh, crazy how truth can be a perspective there, huh? But when you all think the same thing, it's not a conspiracy, but when the mainstream media does, it is a conspiracy. Crazy how that works. Because I think I said something like, you guys are NPCs too. Like, you all believe in the same things. And I named off like 5 things, and Taylor's like, well, that's because we're right. Wow, you think you're right? Wow, bro. How unique are you? My God, I can feel the triangle hands forming in my brain with such an enlightening statement. You think you're right and everybody else is wrong? No way, Chief.
Wikipedia articles. So in the future for like upcoming Nick Fuentes spaces, which I think are going to continue to be huge.
Is he about to give a guideline on how to make this as anti-free speech as possible so they could celebrate their freedom of speech?
Nick Fuentes spaces, which I think are going to continue to be huge. If you look at this as like a post space and there's already so many people here, I would just say, let's try to limit the amount of yappers who are just trying to deflect the conversation.
Actually unbelievable. What a cowardly what an actual cuck. Like, Sneako should be like a Buddhist or something. I like, at the very least, choose like a more pussy religion, right? Because like, at the very least, if you want to talk about Muslims, if you want to talk about Islam, be my guest, because religion. But like, you can't say that Muslims are pussies, okay? Muhammad was a literal warlord. This motherfucker signing treaties and then torching tribes as he marches through the desert, laying waste to the enemies around him, okay? With the, like, Christians have, like, we call it divinely inspired. When a Christian argues about their holy book, they're like, well, the Bible is divine inspiration. I'm like, what is a Muslim's like, what is divine inspiration, man? You're like, well, it means that God influences a guy and he writes what he thinks God is saying. Like, isn't that how yours is written? And they're like, no, the Quran is the word of God. And they're like, oh, like, divinely inspired? No, it's just the word of God. There's no argument. Like, everything about Islam is so much more, like, hardcore. They've got politics, they've got warlords as their figures. Like, they've got, like, Jesus is walking around like kissing people's feet and washing them with his hair, and Muhammad is chopping them off. Okay, like, everything is so much more hardcore. So how do you get somebody like Sneako who's like, guys, if we want to do spaces, can we not have the opposition in here? Like, let's just like make sure we can all talk and not get interrupted. Like,
someone else joined the call, I believe.
Oh yeah, like 20 people messaged me and they were like, Sneako's trying to get into the call. Sneako's trying to ambush you. Sneako's trying to join. And I was like, well, let him in. I don't give a f. We'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a chill conversation, you know, maybe it'll be good for viewers, you know, maybe it'll be whatever. Anyway, so Sneako decides to join, and he's there to do his like 74 IQ Muslim grift, and it's like literally, I guess, like shooting fish in a barrel, but he wanted to come and like try to eat like XQC out of the barrel, and yeah.
What happened between you and him during this call? It got a little heated from what I remember.
I don't know. He came in to like preach and give a couple like of his programmed NPC lines. And then I asked him like a couple of really basic questions about the new religion that's supposedly been the centerpiece of his life for the past year, and he couldn't answer a single one of them. And then he got ass mad and flustered, and then he ran off to all of his griper friends and everything afterwards to cry about how unfair and evil I am, and claimed that I ambushed him despite the fact that he joined that call that I was already in. So yeah,
interesting. There was a time when you were friends with him, or at least friendly, if you will. Shared a snack, if you would, at a restaurant. There was a time. Anyways, a long time gone. That's over. That was a very exciting whole... I almost felt like Nebraska Steve was flowing through your veins when that happened. Do you know why? Because it's so rare, if you're watching DGG chat, to see the Abathur emotes just flying by at a... It must get you rock hard seeing that. You're like, yeah, I'm doing it when that happens. Yeah? No? I like it personally.
Problem with Sneako is just like the perfect combination of like smug and stupid. So like, imagine there is like a serial child, but imagine that he is like handicapped. So like, you can beat the shit out of a cripple finally, but they're like a child serial, so you don't have to feel bad about it. That's what arguing with Sneako is like.
You think
it's like beating up a
to you,
handicapped
there's no challenge whatsoever.
Serial child.
Could you have gone harder? You felt.
Maybe. I don't know. Not much harder. No, I would give him space a little bit to talk to XQC, and I would let him kind of...
Okay.
Like, yeah.
I appreciate that, Destiny.
All right. Bye.
Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.